So we got releases here from the Federation, right? So Chris Featherstone is like, I've been informed that some WWE talents were caught off guard by the latest string of releases. No, especially since some of them are recently on television or scheduled to receive more exposure. But then we hear the opposite from them and everybody who got released, basically. So Featherstone's been missing lately. He was good for like 2 days, and then he just started missing. I did a podcast with Megan Ambers, right? She writes for bodyslam.net. She's on like 3 different wrestling podcasts. Duke Hudson was also released, and nobody's talking about that. So he also got released, all right? Duke Hudson's bye-bye. No one's got him in their list. So early in the day, it was Cedric Alexander, Blair Davenport, Sonya Deville, Paul Ellering, AOP. And then later in the day, Isla Dawn also got her release. Giovanni Vinci also got her release. No one's talking about Duke Hudson, who got his release. Cedric Alexander got his release. And we're going to react to all of them individually. And I'm going to try and provide some insight to some of these, hopefully. Okay. So let's start at the bottom. Cedric Alexander. So good for him. I'm not sure if and here's the other thing too. The 90 days for WWE is up right before WrestleMania. We all have to remember that. It's 90 days for some people. For some people, they can get active right away. Some people just weren't renewed, right? But WrestleMania is like just under 100 days away or 110 days away or something like that. So yeah, they'll be able to show up at those shows surrounding Mania, which is good for them, man, because they're going to get big paydays. They're going to elevate those shows. It's only going to add more hype. They're going to pop up new names, new gear. You know, some of these people can go prove themselves. I mean, Sonya and Blair in TNA, a bunch of these people in TNA would be amazing. So let's start at the bottom. Cedric Alexander. And by the way, this is sad, but also none of these people. So, okay, the hack thing would be to say, and again, no offense to anybody who said this, but we all saw 10 million tweets of people being outraged about wrestlers they don't care about and never talked about. Meanwhile, your boy predicted some of these and even talked. I mean, Isla Dawn's gone. You guys know how much I love her. Like, love her. You know, I was saying build the tag team division around her and Alba and the KC2, right? Anyways, though, not to jump ahead of myself, but the other hack thing would be to be like, B to B to the boogie to B. I said a hip, up a hippie to the hip. It would be to say something like, oh, everyone's outraged about wrestlers they don't care. I saw a million tweets like that too. It's like, guys, we get it. Can people just not react? So I don't know. I put my tweet out there. I summated some of these. I wasn't shocked by a lot of these. Like, they're not being used. I'm surprised the whole Pure Fusion Collective wasn't released. I got to be honest. But Sonya is a name. If you guys go back, me and Husey were talking about this, and Husey was saying, don't be surprised if there's a lot of cuts coming up. Everyone got triggered under my comments. They're like, he's just talking. LOL, why would they cut Sonya? They just literally put her in a faction with, because I was saying that. Well, Sonya could go. She fits the description. We even theorized like Miz, a name like that, maybe a Braun Strowman. What Husey was saying was, listen, it's a new regime. A lot of people are signing new deals. A lot of people who are still on these deals that Vince had them on, where he signed them for a bunch of money so AEW wouldn't scoop them, or he was using them in a way that Triple H isn't going to use them. And they've proven that they can draw big houses and have Matthew McConaughey there if they put a women's match in the main event and have Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee team up. Like, WWE's just so hot right now. The only people they need is like Roman and Cody. And like, if they were, and they don't even need Cody really, like they would still do good business if he were to leave tomorrow. However, fans would turn, if they just released Roman, we don't need Roman, and pulled like a power move, fans would be like, what the? So I'm obviously not saying that. Like, they do need some of these guys, right? But a lot of the people named here, they don't actually need them. Like, you need them more than WWE needs you. And that's unfortunate to say. And I love a lot of these talents here. And it sucks that they might not be in games. Some of them are announced for the video game and they got released, which is kind of crazy, you know? That being said, that's my thoughts on it. And this is going to happen. It's weird that WWE is not future endeavoring people. I used to put that over. I would say, yo, at least when they future endeavor you, there's hype around your name. Now it's the dirt sheets leaking it all out and people on their Instagrams. I think that is messy. That's very Tony Khan-ish. But it's also giving them, because a lot of people just want to tweet out, oh, I'm fired, or oh, I'm doing this. Meanwhile, if WWE doesn't announce and you don't leak it to the sheets and it doesn't get out to the sheets or people are speculating, if they don't future endeavor you, that gives you a chance before they take you off the roster page and everything to like rebrand, reinvent, set up a secret debut, go dark on Twitter, like build up anticipation as well for that big pop when you show up at a TNA show or whatever. And guys, remember this too, just because WWE's in a partnership with TNA doesn't mean TNA won't hire these people, right? There just won't be interested in maybe Blair in like 3 years. Maybe she's the most over thing in TNA and they go, you want another chance? And then she goes, no, I'll go over here for more money or whatever. Like Nick Nemeth isn't probably going to cross over ever with the WWE stuff. He was just there, you know? So anyways, let's go over each of these names, right? And I'll try and add some, hopefully, if I do have insight or just my opinion on things, okay? So Cedric Alexander, they put him with Ashanti the Adonis. They put him with a couple different people. They just kiboshed it quickly. He was sort of being featured on NXT when Hurt Syndicate showed up in AEW. I'm happy for him. He's happy for himself, and Big Swole, who is his wife, is happy for him as well, as she tweeted out. And they should be, because Cedric Alexander is about to go make the most money he's ever made in AEW. He's about to win titles. He's about to be featured on TV prominently, featured on TV, using his name too. So Shelton Benjamin, Bobby Lashley, like name another faction where all the guys are going over and just get to use their real names. So Hurt Syndicate will be complete. I'm down with it. I liked Hurt Syndicate in WWE. AEW is all ex-WWE at this point anyways, so might as well. And he can have his matches with Ricochet and do all the crazy he wants to do. And Cedric Alexander's a great wrestler. And I think he's going to work smart too. He's not going to go over there and just, you know, start going insane like he was doing on 205 Live. Like he has nothing to prove. And he's about to go get a huge payday. And good for him, man. So he's excited. And we were sort of waiting for this one. And I even said it, yo, if I'm AEW, offer to buy him out of his contract, or WWE, just release him, man. Like, this is not a bad one. So if people are mad at this, well, he wasn't being used in NXT or WWE, so don't be mad at this one. It sucks. Yeah, Cedric's not going to be in the game. He's where he should be. He's going to go get paid huge, and he's going to be featured. It's not like he's going over there and he's not going to be on TV. We know that Hurt Syndicate's on every show. They're all over every show, and they're winning belts. So they'll just go win the trios titles. You know, he'll win the TNT belt or some shit. That's good for him, man, because he deserves some of that. You know, he's a guy that people thought they should have did more with in WWE. He never got that shot. So here you go, man. I'm really down with it. And just gives them one more member, I guess, to beat up the Bumbleclaw clan, which I guess they're not ever going to do. Like the mole was right. That's not the end game. And we're all like, clearly it's the end game, right? You have an MVP, and the Hurt Syndicate beat that out of these like wannabe American History X guys. No, that is not the plan. Blair Davenport. Now, again, I'm not shocked they called her up. Was Vince still dabbling? I don't remember if Vince was still dabbling in WWE or not at the time that they called her up, but they called her up and they had no plans for her. They stuck her with Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, which I believe, right? So why not just leave that? Just call them the Coven or whatever. That might already be a faction name in wrestling, so maybe not that. Just Unholy Union or the Cauldron or something. And you just make them witch girls and just have them in a women's trio. I don't get why they didn't do that. That's silly to me. I think they could have used her. Her work's good. It's decent. They had that little thing with Naomi, which really went nowhere and was kind of blah. And then they stuck her with Unholy Union, and then they all just disappeared from TV. I wouldn't be shocked if Alba Fire goes next, but she really did a lot as a single as well as a tag with Isla. But she did more as a single, I want to say, too. I don't know. If she gets released, don't be shocked. That's all I'll say. But obviously they have a plan for her, maybe in the Intercontinental Division or something. Blair is a girl who, what's her name? B. Priestley or whatever. She was in AEW at the beginning, did her NXT thing, got called up, misused. Go to TNA. Just have a run. Chris Connors is always on here talking about, well, who's going to challenge Tessa if Jordan leaves there? Nay, sir. They have, you know, a slew of challengers here. Blair Davenport could go and be top. And she could even team up with like Spitfire or whatever that team is, you know? You could do them versus like a Tessa and whoever, and you could beat Blair with Tessa to keep getting her over and keep TNA strong. I'm not too shocked by this. This is one where it's like nobody can act that shocked by it. I get it if there's some like simps on X who like see pictures like this and are, no, not Blair, you know, okay, I get it. But yeah, it's this isn't shocking. What would she have done? What were they using her for? They're just paying her for nothing. And we make the same criticism of AEW all the time. Sonya Deville. Now, this is one that I called like a while ago. So during, we were talking, I say Miz, but Hughesy's like, no, Miz is too famous and he's super rich. He'll just take a pay cut. And I've said it too. Miz is the type of guy, he'll work commentary. He'll be a manager. Miz is going to be a manager one day. He'll be doing commentary on NXT one day or something. Like, don't worry about the Miz so much. I know I keep throwing that out there, but I was throwing out names like Sonya or Braun Strowman. And the reason I say Sonya is because I know a lot of people aren't privy to this, but Sonya's making like bigger money because of like Vince had her signed to. She's like a Vince girl kind of, and maybe Triple H. I don't know so much about. I'm sure their relationship is fine or whatever, but she's just getting paid more than what the level she's ever going to be used at again. You guys get what I'm saying? She's been around for a while. She's a vet. So there was and they like her so much. You got to remember, they like Sonya so much that when she got hurt or needed that time off, Vince is like, well, we'll make you a GM, pal. They don't just do that. Think about the people they give the GM position to. They don't just really do that for anyone unless they see something in them or they're a legend or something, So Sonya was kind of thrown into that role as well because she gets the business. Early on in PWT, you can hear myself and my old co-host talking about how good she is and over she is backstage and stuff because how good she is. Sonya really gets the business. She knows how to heel. She knows how to babyface. She's a real shooter, IRL. She can really fight. Her work isn't like the best ever, blow you away, but she can talk. She can tag. She can singles. She'll do the job. She doesn't have boo-boo face, right? She does the obscure house shows, everything, okay, that they ask her. But she was getting paid more than what she's ever going to be used. Her contract was up, so not released as well. They just opted not to re-sign. And who knows? Maybe they offered her less money. We don't know, and maybe she rejected it. We don't know the details on that. But what we know is that this was she could show up in AEW on Wednesday. So if Tony Khan's smart, you do that, except for, actually, no, that'd be dumb because what would happen? He would just forget about her. She'd get Camille. You have Megan Bain. So if you're smart, Tony, don't do that, but he does the opposite. Anyways, Duke Hudson. So he's not on the list here. You just made the list. But Duke Hudson got silently released kind of like a week or something ago, okay? Not a lot of people knew about it. No one's really talking about it. I don't know what they're doing with Andre Chase. If anybody, I thought Andre Chase would get released. Thea Hale now is just doing her own thing. Andre's doing his own thing. Duke, for some reason, they just didn't see it in him. Sorry, bud, you're gone. Like before a Ridge Holland or something. Crazy to me. Andre Chase sort of ran its role. They should have just called Chase U up to the main roster and then have them job and stuff. And I know people are saying, well, what about the whole Alpha Academy? I don't see them getting rid of them because they're popular. Otis is popular and they need people to do jobs. So Otis can help get big guys over. Akira can lose to Carmelo like we just saw, right? They need guys like that. So the American Academy or whatever, American Made, the sub faction, Chad's new faction, I don't see any of them going anywhere either. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but they just need people to job. You can't have everybody 50-50 booked and super strong all the time either. So I think that's why we're seeing people who are probably getting paid a little bit more. And Blair, I think, too, was a signee that they scooped. They didn't want her going back to AEW type. So I'm not saying they paid her out the wahoo, but her as well. I think she was getting a little bit more than we would expect, Maybe I'm wrong on that. That's purely speculative on my end. Paul Ellering, good. There was rumors he got released already, that he was done with his time. Good. We don't need him on the road. He adds nothing to the Final Testament. I'm a fan, but like, bro, just pack it up, pack it in. Let me begin. Right? Like, bro, it's good. Just go home, enjoy the your legend. If you can still travel, do the cons, put him in the video games, show up and let the crowd clap for you. all that, but you're a legend. You don't got to be doing this. Let Karrion and Scarlett are much more interesting on their own. My only qualms, though, is it would be sweet if we got endings to these people the way Ricochet did, the way Braun Breaker destroyed Ricochet, which they did because they knew Ricochet, how he was going to be used prominently in AEW. It would have been cool if like AOP got destroyed by Viking Raiders or something and made them look really strong or something like that. AOP, so they were released before, then they're trying to start their own fed, then everyone backs out of this show that they're trying to put on, all these ex-WWE people. Then a bunch of those people get re-signed. They get re-signed. They show up. They're cool with Paul Ellering. They were cool in NXT. They just are green, and they're not needed right now. They're just not, unless they were on SmackDown, like running that tag division, and you had like the Viking Raiders as faces on one side as like your monster tag team, and then on the other brand or whatever, and then just them and Ellering's cool. They should have just did that. They shouldn't have put them with the Final Testament. But ultimately, AOP, again, are guys that I think they get a little more scratch too. And this is not, I don't even think this is too much speculation. Like, there's demand for these guys. These AOP guys could go and fight MMA. The one dude, I forget, there's Occam and Rezar. So I'm sorry, I forget which one's which sometimes, but I believe Occam or whatever, like he'll get offers to go bare knuckle boxing. I'm not saying he should go do that. Jack Gallagher has made a living out of that. I think he's undefeated in BKFC, actually, if you guys remember that guy. And then he tattied his body up after he got canceled. Bare knuckles, like, yeah, we'll take him. Conor McGregor's here. But AOP, though, they're just dudes that they don't really add too much. I'm not shocked by this, and they're probably saving a good chunk of change by releasing them both, for sure. So there was more releases, so let's keep going. Sonya Deville, though, will be leaving WWE later this month. So PWI already had the scoop, like, listen, her contract later this month, and then it just came out today. She's done. So she was informed tonight that the company would not be renewing her current contract. Deville would be free and clear to perform anywhere. I could see her showing up in AEW. That's a name that I could see where she's just like, yeah, I'll go get the money. Like, whatever. I want to be on TV. Blair will definitely be back in AEW, but if I'm her, I go to WWE. So this is how we found out Isla Dawn's released. She goes, here for a good time, not for a long time. See you in 90. Now, Alba Fire's not released. It's so unfortunate. Now, you guys know how much I love Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, especially Isla Dawn. And I'm really shocked. This is the one that shocked me, and I'm disappointed by this. And I'm more disappointed it's just one of them were released and not both. And this makes me think that they're bringing in Brie Bella too, because they're freeing up space, and they pretty much just their whole tag team division right in the ear, dude. And I'm sitting here going, what the? So Alba's going to be a single, probably compete for the IC title. If I had to guess, maybe US, I don't know. Or she just gets released too. KC2 go to SmackDown. I'm surprised they both didn't get released, right? Over Isla Dawn. And what's the tag division? Bianca and Jade and Naomi, who are all always off doing singles. Bianca's in the Elimination Chamber as a singles competitor. You guys know what I'm saying? What's the tag division? So we have KC2. We have, who else? I'm trying to think. Bremo, that's who, guys, okay? I'm telling you right now. We have Naomi and Bianca, okay? They're off doing solo. I'm trying to really honestly think. Chat, help me out here. Who are we missing? I've heard from lots of people, Sonya Deville requested her release to go to AEW. I love that. Tone Hunter in the pulling a Meltzer. But yeah, who's left? Lash and Jakara. Okay, right there. Thank you. So push that out of them. So Lash and Jakara, push that out of them. Although Lash has a solo run in her as well. Okay. I'm trying to think. Who else do we got? Nikki and Alexa are gonna tag. Okay. It's just weird. Maybe that's what they're looking at. Look, we're gonna have Alexa and Nikki. We can't have another spooky witch tag team, Blair and Isla. Who do we see the most value in? Alba, because she is the best worker out of the three, in my opinion. She's the most well-rounded, although to me, Isla's the most eye-catching, charismatic. She understands the whole witch vibe thing and how to be like a real WWE diva, if you will, mixed with, because in these days you have to be a good wrestler and a diva. You have to know how to do both. So she understands that aspect of it. So to me, I was just really shocked by this. But yeah, we'll see how far Alba Fire can take it. And yeah, we have a few tag teams, so maybe that's it. We named about 4 to 6. And then if the Bellas come back, that's like 4 or 5. Maybe that's enough. They say you need about 6 teams or 6 people in a division to have a division, right? So let's say you have a tag team division, you need 4 tag teams. One of them's like a jobber team that can eventually build up. One of them's like the mid team, and the other 2 are kind of your top teams, And then if you have another team or 2 in there, okay, then you can sort of flesh out a division. That's same with singles as well. You have about 4 to 6 guys that are like, okay, the SmackDown 6, right? This is who we're gonna build. They're the spinal cord of everything else. So we just named them right there, chat. So maybe that's enough, right? And you have so many ladies in NXT coming up, and you have all these teams, and maybe they keep Shayna and Zoe together, but I just split them up, So Giovanni Vinci gets released. Now, he actually had heat on him. Nope. Everybody's just like, oh man, why did you release him? Why? I don't know. Right? I do know. Okay, he had heat on him. That's why he was separated from Imperium. Now, I don't know what it was. I don't know what happened, but something went down between him and Tiffy. While Ludwig's dating Tiffy, Giovanni did some
emotional damage.
And Gunther and Ludwig wanted to beat that of him. And when you go back and watch the beatdown of him, there's some Ludwig's throwing some live rounds. We all talked about it. Damn, they just really beat his ass and gave him nothing back. Ludwig and Gunther just destroyed him. Ludwig just whooped him pillar to post. For real, that's half. And Rick Steiner, you know what I mean? That was a 3/4 shoot, brother. You know what I'm saying? And Vinci did some. Now, I don't know what it is. It involved Tiffy time. They didn't want to get rid of him. They moved him to SmackDown, gimmick change. Now, this is all allegedly. I don't know. But yeah, and then they tried it on TV. People kind of clowned it. People are still kind of hot at him. If you remember, Gunther starts showing up. People are showing up on both brands, on SmackDown and Raw, like that. So Vinci's just gone because there's no real keeping them separate. Now, maybe going into the Netflix era, there's a bigger, or now that we're in it, and seemingly after WrestleMania, they're going to really stick with the brands type is what they're kind of trying to get across again. So you could do it then, but what's the point? Just because if Tiffy's on one show and Tiffy's on SmackDown all the time and she's the champ. Notice Vinci just disappeared when she started showing up, and she had that briefcase coming around and teasing that. That's all I'm saying. So he has legit heat, and he'll go do good. And I don't want to just say he's a creep or whatever. I don't know. Maybe what I just said is all fake and all just backstage rumors and innuendo. But that's, as Eric Cartman would say, that's not what we just heard. So, yeah, dude. Vinci, he's gonzo. Okay. And then the Good Brothers. I'm not surprised by this whatsoever. Now, these guys 100% were getting paid a fucking chunk of change. Y'all hear me? They are getting paid more than they should. But no, here's the thing. They're veterans to the game. So what someone should get paid isn't for me to determine. So I'm Film S Marks here, right, guys? I'm Smarks. I'm a Smark. I'm sitting here saying this potato chip eater, couch sitting quarterback, whatever term you want to put it, Cheeto fingers, whatever. I don't really eat Cheetos, but you guys get what I'm saying for sure. If someone heard me say that who's in the business. However, I'm going to say it for what they're being utilized. Do you guys get what I'm saying? They're getting paid so much money, but here's the thing. They stay in shape. They look good. They work good. They never have a sloppy match. Karl Anderson's in the best shape of his life sitting on the couch. And they do jobs for anyone. They'll go to NXT. They'll get anyone over. The Too Sweet's always over. They're always over wherever they go. They're going to go get jobs back in AEW once again. We all know that. That's not new news or anything like that. They're going to get jobs in AEW. If not, TNA. Do you know what Scott D'Amore tweeted out, actually? He's like, let's go. They're really good friends with D'Amore. And D'Amore's okay paying them to be part-time. And these guys will take a pay cut, but I bet WWE's just like, look, we're doing AJ in this other direction. I would have loved to see like AJ and the Good Brothers maybe step up against like Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga, but don't be shocked if Tonga Loa gets released too. That guy can't stay healthy, man. Cannot stay healthy, and he got signed hurt, and he was ready to retire already. So all I'm saying, though, is you guys know I love the Good Brothers. I'll never hate on them. Too sweet for life, brother. And yeah, I mean, they're always prepared. They're always ready. And that's why they're the Good Brothers, right? This is one where I bet they're not sad. They're just like, well, it was a good ride. We each just made $250,000 or, or more. Doing what? Couple matches. Ultimate workers. These guys get the business through and through, and they're consummate professionals, bro. They show up. They don't have fake tan leaking off their foreheads. They show up, they're tan, they're shredded, right? Luke Gallows too, he stays in the best shape. They brought their podcast back too. They get no views. Good Brothers, hit me up and I'll help get you views, and we'll blow that podcast up, man, because you guys are funny. You got stories for days, Jesus. But yeah, shout them out, and they're going back to AEW. They're just gonna go lay in the cut there, dude. They just lay in the cut, get paid. You gotta respect that. That's the ultimate, that's the ultimate goal when you get in the wrestling business, is to do the least amount of work and get paid the most amount of money, brother. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was WWE.
I don't know.